Good evening. Welcome to to Cryptic Crunch. Wow. Uh, well, looks like I'm going it alone today, so this is going to be an interesting show. Well, let's get it started. And as usual, we have people in our chat. Welcome, Dan Hollyfield. Welcome to the show. And Donna Carlene. Carl Witzman. Hello. Well, so today went to see Borderlands. I'm gonna. It should have been a way better movie than it was. Sadly, it does kind of suffer from the typical, movie, video game turned movie, and I liked it as like just one of those types of movies that you pop in when you're bored and need to watch something. The action is good. I love the fact that it's a star-studded cast, but sadly, it's not the summer blockbuster that I was hoping for. The costumes are kind of meh. I was actually hoping for more from, Mad Moxie, because in the video game you get this big, huge his song and dance from the character, but there was nothing of that. Gina Gershon did, I guess, the best she could with what was written for her. Yeah. No, unfortunately, no, Carl. Unfortunately, Keisha is not here this evening. I know I invited her. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, guys. I should have planned this a little bit better to have someone with me. But yeah, no, Borderlands, for those of you who might be interested, go see it. It's a Sunday afternoon flick. It definitely a Sunday afternoon flick. The theater was not busy at all for this film. But Deadpool, when I went to see Deadpool last week, it was packed. So that tells you what movie is more popular and what movies people want to see. So yeah, so tonight's episode is we're going to be talking about creatures of the Sideshow, or like the Sideshow characters. What prompted me to talk about this is I've always been interested in knowing about the lives of the Sideshow people. And sorry, hold on a sec. Sorry. If YouTube dings me for copyright, I'm sorry. I kind of share the same space as my husband when he's watching TV. Anyway, so yeah, creatures of the Sideshow. Lots of these guys have were medical anomalies. And especially the Elephant Man. And if it weren't for for many of these people, we wouldn't have the knowledge of our for our medical system that we have now. Um, so yeah, where do I start? There's so many. Yeah, let's start with the Elephant Man, shall we? Nope, that's the movie. Joseph Merrick. Okay, let's unhide that. Joseph Carey Merrick, uh, often around, often called John Merrick, was an English artist known for his severe physical deformities. He was first exhibited as at a freak show under the stage name The Elephant Man, and then went to live in the London hospital in Whitechapel after meeting Sir Frederick Treves, subsequently becoming well known in London society. Uh, Merrick was born in Leicester and began to develop abnormalities before the age of 5. His mother died when he was 11, and his father soon remarried. Rejected by his father and stepmother, he left home and went to live with his uncle, Charles Merrick. In 1979, 17-year-old Merrick entered the Leicester Union Workhouse. In 1884, he contacted a showman known named named Sam Tor and proposed that he might be exhibited. Tor arranged for a group of men to manage Merrick, who they named the Elephant Man after touring the East Mainlands. Merrick traveled to London to be exhibited in a penny gap shop rented by showman Tom Norman. The shop was visited by surgeon Frederick Treves, who invited Merrick to be physically examined. Merrick was displayed by Treves at a meeting of pathological society of the Pathological Society of London in 1884, after which Norman's shop was closed by the police. Merrick then joined Sam Roper's circus and was toured in Europe. In Belgium, Merrick was robbed by his road manager and abandoned in Brussels. He eventually made his way back to the London hospital, where he was allowed to stay for the rest of his life. Treves visited him daily, and the pair developed a close friendship. Merrick also received visits from some of the wealthy ladies and gentlemen of London society, including Alexandria, Princess of Wales. Although official cause of his death was asphyxia, Treves, who performed the postpartum, concluded that Merrick had died of a dislocated neck. The exact cause of Merrick's deformities is unclear, but in 1986, it was conjectured that he had Proteus syndrome. In a 2003 study, DNA tests on his hair and bones were inconclusive because his skeleton had been bleached numerous times before going on display at the Royal London Hospital. Merrick's life was depicted in a 1977 play by Bernard Pomerantz and a 1980 film by David Lynch, both titled The Elephant Man. And, I will see if I can get this image. Yes. So that's what he looked like, somewhat naked. And yeah, the medical anomaly of him is still fascinating to this day, and I would love to see. I would love to see his bones. Like that is his story is amazing. Um, yeah. Uh, Hello, Thesis. I'm so sorry. Hello, Thesis. Welcome to the show. I am not an animal. Yes, that is a quote from the movie. Um, but yeah, he has that story has always interested me. Um, his early life. Joseph Carey Merrick was born on August 5th, 1862 at, well, okay. Joseph was apparently healthy at birth and had no outward and anatomical signs of symptoms of any disorder for the first few years of his life. Named after his father, he was given the middle name Carey by his mother. The Merricks had two other children, William Arthur, born 1866, who died of scarlet fever. Um, and yeah, he died of scarlet fever on the 21st of December, 1870. Age 4 was buried on Christmas Day, 1870. And Marion Eliza, born 20th of September, one day before mine, 1867, who had physical disabilities and died of myelitis and seizures on the 19th of March, 1891. Age 23, William is buried with his mother, aunts, and uncles in Welford Road Cemetery in Leicester. Marion is born with her father in the Belgrave Cemetery in Leicester. A pamphlet titled The Autobiography of Joseph Carey Merrick, produced in 1884 to accompany his exhibition, stated that he began to display anatomical signs of approximately 5 years of age, with thick, lumpy skin, like that of an elephant and almost the same color. According to a 1930s article in the Illustrated Leicester Chronicle, he began to develop swellings on his lips at the age of 21 months, followed by a bony lump on his forehead and a loosening and roughing of the skin. As he grew, a noticeable difference between the size of his left and right arms appeared, and both his feet became significantly enlarged. The Merrick family explained his symptoms as a result of Mary's being knocked over and frightened by a fairground elephant while she was pregnant. That's not how things work. The concept of maternal impression, the emotional experience of pregnant women could have lasted physical effects on their unborn child, was still common in the 19th century Britain. Merrick held his belief about the cause of his disability throughout his life. Well, sorry, that's, despite what people may think, that's not how things work. In addition to his deformities, Merrick fell and damaged his left hip and at some point during his childhood. The injury site became infected and left him permanently disabled. Although limited to his physical deformities, Merrick attended school and enjoyed a close relationship with his mother. She was a Sunday school teacher, and his father worked as an engine driver at a cotton factory, as well as running a haberdashery business. Mary Jane Merrick died from bronchopneumonia on the 29th of May in 1873, 2.5 years after the death of her youngest son, William. Joseph Rockley Merrick moved with his two surviving children to live with Miss Emma Wood Antill, a widow with children of her own. They married on the 3rd of December, 1874. Now, I won't go into all the details of his life, but he Where did he become? Oh, there is a picture of his bones. Oops. Hi. Hello, I'm glad to be here. Hi, Daniel. Nice to see you. All right. Donna says that's the kind of thing they believe back then. Yeah, I know. It's um, people will grasp at anything for an explanation of odd things. And I mean, unfortunately, that still happens today. We will move on to another woman right away, but I did find the picture of Merrick's bones, and there, there is. That is interesting. That is. I will have to try to find a better picture, but you can definitely see some of the bones are definitely elongated, and his skull is has interesting shape to it. All right. So, what prompted me to talk about the sideshow um, people is the story of the four-legged woman. The yeah, four-legged woman. Oops. This is an interesting story. I like this. Myrtle Corbin. Oh, it's not saving to the right spot. Yeah, my thing's not saving to the right spot. I'm sorry. Okay, Josephine Myrtle Corbin was an American sideshow performer born in Tygas. Hopefully I'm saying that right. This referred to the fact that she had two separate pelvises side by side from the waist down as a result of her body axis splitting as it developed. Each of her smaller inner legs was paired with one of her outer legs. She was said to be able to move her inner legs, but they were too weak for walking. Okay, one more time. I'll see if I can get. No, okay, you're going to be a jerk. Fine. Corbin was born in Lincoln County, Tennessee. Corbin's parents were William H. Corbin, age 25 at the time of his daughter's birth, and Nancy Corbin, age 34. Both parents were described by physicians who examined the infant shortly after her birth as being very similar in appearance, both having auburn hair, blue eyes, and a very fair complexion. In fact, they looked so similar that the physicians felt compelled to point out that they were not blood kin. The Corbins had 4 children in total, including a child from Nancy's first marriage. Myrtle's birth was not marked by anything peculiar about the labor for delivery According to her mother, doctors who examined the child shortly after her birth noted that a breech presentation would have proved fatal for the infant and possibly to the mother. Corbin soon showed herself to be a strong child, weighing 10 pounds 3 weeks after the birth, and it was reported as in the journal published later that year that she nurses healthily and was thriving well. For her career, Corbin entered the sideshow circuit with the moniker Four-Legged Girl from Texas when she was 13 years old. One of her first promotional pamphlets described her as being a gentle of deposition as the summer sunshine and as happy as the day is long. Her popularity in the industry was such that other women turned to exhibiting four-legged gaps, falsified performances. When Corbin herself was no longer performing, there were several phony four-legged women to whom audience could turn. Okay. Presence in medical literature. Teratologists in medical journals and encyclopedias in the 19th century classified Corbin's anomaly using several different yet equally complex terms. According to conventions of the time, some refer to her as Dipagus, there's a word that I can't pronounce, Diprachius tetrapus. Others named her posterior dichotomy, oh my god, these words, sobriety, schizo. I'm gonna put that in the chat for you guys because that is definitely a word that I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing tonight. Yeah, okay. So now that you know what kind of word that I'm trying to pronounce, one doctor, Brooks H. Wells, described her as female belonging to the monocephalic ideal class of monsters by fusion. Okay, there is an interesting fact about her. She did. Why is that not on here? Okay. Okay. In the spring of 1887, approximately a year after marrying Bicknell, Corbin became pregnant for the first time. Her condition was discovered by Dr. Lewis Whaley of Blount'sville, Alabama, who was sent for after Corbin had experienced pain in her left side, fever, headache, and decreased appetite. In addition, the physician noted that vomiting and amenorrhea had persisted for 2 months. Whaley wrote up the case for the Atlanta Medical and Surgical Journal, which led to resurgence of interest in Myrtle throughout the late 1880s, now known in medical journals as Miss B. Examining Corbin, Whaley discovered that the duplication of her external sex organs was mirrored by similar duplication internally. He determined that it was in her left uterus that Miss B was pregnant. According to Whaley, upon being told that she was pregnant, she replied in disbelief, saying, "If it had been in my right side, I would come nearer to believing you are correct." From this comment, physicians determined that Corbin preferred intercourse in the right side, and this fact was commented upon in several subsequent reports. The pregnancy caused Corbin to become gravely ill, and after consulting with colleagues, Whaley described to perform an abortion 8 weeks after her initial exam. She was reportedly between 3 and 4 months pregnant at the time. She made a full recovery, and the procedure, as well as her unique anatomy, did not prevent her from successfully carrying subsequent pregnancies to term. As medical journals across the United States and around the world had turned renewed attention to now mature Corbin, details about her personality revealed a sense of the woman. One article noted that the lady Miss B, The Myrtle Corbin of Days Gone By is attractive in face, physically well, and able to attend to all her household duties. I'm so glad that we changed all that. While she was described elsewhere as being very intelligent and a refined woman for some of some musical tastes. Uh, there's a little note here. She is about 5 feet high, has fair skin, blue eyed, and curly hair, and is very intelligent. Um, would only think her unusually broad across her hips, and with the carriage unusual to one with clubbed foot. I have known Miss B since she was a tiny child as the four-legged girl, but never realized the perfect dual development of both external and internal genital organs until she became my patient in a case of pregnancy. Lewis Whaley quoted in the British Medical Journal. And here, I will see if I can find a picture of her for you guys. Okay. Schizoacris. Okay. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Carl, for putting that. uh, and Donna, sub varieties, schizo, yeah, uh, schizoacris. I appreciate you guys putting that. Uh, yeah, and they're talking about, yeah, you got it. Donna says to Carl, yeah, you got it there first. But I typed it all out. I appreciate you guys. This is why I love my chat, because you guys are all full of smart people, and this is why I do the show for you. But yeah, this story has always interested me, and uh, I can't tell. Oh, why aren't you working? Yeah, for some reason my pictures aren't saving properly. I will see. I don't want to waste the whole show of me trying to download pictures. I'm so sorry, guys. Uh, but yeah, no, it's not going to work. All right. So anyway, it's a beautiful woman with Victorian style clothing, and she has four legs. Yeah, the interesting part of all this, and here I'll share the link um, of her Wikipedia. Uh, I love the fact that they find out later that she has double sex organs, um, despite the fact that it looks like you know it the middle legs would be just like the her main vagina. Yes. It's not that I'm not comfortable talking about it. It's just I don't want to get banned for talking about it. Um, all right. So I'm going to take the time to ask you guys, what is your favorite Sideshow person that you've heard about over the years? That one, Myrtle Corbin, is definitely my favorite. Um, and then there is the Dog Boy. Okay, are you going to work for me? Yes. Oh, uh, Donna says the Dog Boy. Yep, yep. This one is an interesting one too. And you don't hear too much of the of people having this medical anomaly, but I'm sure they are out there. They just don't want to really present themselves to. Our online world is not is still not friendly enough for for those of us who are abnormal to the world. Fedor Andronovich Jeftichu. Um, I apologize for butchering that name. He is Russian, uh, better known as Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy. Later, Jojo the Dog-Faced Man was a famous Russian sideshow performer who toured Europe with his father, the wild man from the Kostroma forest, in 1873, and was brought to the United States in 1884 by P.T. Barnum. Born in St. Petersburg, Imperial Russia in 1868, Fedor suffered from the medical condition hypertrichosis. His father, Adrian, also hypertrichotic, hypotrichotic, had performed in France circuses. In 1873, Adrian appeared in European exhibitions in The Wild Man from Kostroma. I apologize. Yes, Kitty, I love you too. Um, as the wild man from Kostroma Forest, along with his son. 10 years later, Fedor returned as Theodore Petrov, was recruited by P.T. Barnum in 1884 and joined Barnum in America as Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy. Barnum created a story that involved a hunter in Kostroma who tracked Fedor and his father to their cave and captured them. Barnum described Adrian as a savage who could not be civilized. Barnum made a point of stressing Fedor's resemblance to a dog and explained that when he was upset, he would bark and growl. In the show, Fedor obliged by doing so. Fedor spoke Russian, German, and English and toured Europe and the United States extensively. He died in Saloncia, Greece, when part of the Ottoman Empire from pneumonia on January 31st, 1904. Okay, so hypertrichosis is an abnormal amount of hair growth over the body. The two distinct types of hypertrichosis are generalized hypertrichosis, which occurs over the entire body, and localized hypertrichosis, while I apologize. Wikipedia has a tendency to do that, where they just, whoever writes these just puts a lot of sentences together. Okay, which is restricted to a certain area. Hypotrichosis can be either congenital, present at birth, or acquired later in life. The excess growth of hair occurs in areas of the skin, with the exception of androgen-dependent hair, or of the pubic area, uh, face, and axillary regions. Several circus sideshows performers in the 19th and 20th centuries, such as Julia Pastrana, had hypertrichosis. Many of them worked as freaks and were promoted as having distinct human and animal traits. Actually, let's go to that. I guess that would be, yeah, that would be the bearded lady. Um, oh, sure. Now you work. And that is the bearded lady. I love the dress. I'm going to be honest. I love these dresses. So because my computer is weird, here is the picture of the woman that I should have showed earlier. That is interesting. Like, that has always been interesting. Yeah, she has a club foot, and it does look like she has a little kid coming out of her, but no, that is her legs. All four of her legs. Oh yeah, Chang and Ang, the first famous Siamese twins, had an interesting story. I'll go to that right away. People with tails. Yeah, I'm sure that there was a few of them in the circus. Um, Hyper for a lot, and trichosis for hair. Thank you for clearing that up, Carl. Um, so Julia Pastrana was a performer and a singer during the 19th century who had hypertrichosis. Pastrana, an indigenous woman from Mexico, was born in 1834, somewhere in the state of Sinaloa. Sinaloa. Sorry, I'm going to say Sinaloa. Okay, Wikipedia. Let me see. Sinaloa. She was born with a genetic condition, hypertrichosis terminalis, or generalized hypotrichosis linguinosa. Her face and body were covered with straight black hair. Her ears and nose were unusually large, and her teeth were irregular. The latter condition was caused by a rare disease undiagnosed in her lifetime, gingival hyperplasia, which thickened her lips and gums. Multiple versions of Pastrana's early life exist. Literature produced by those who managed to manage the freak shows appeared in described her as belonging to a Native American tribe called root diggers, whose members were similar to apes and lived in caves. And I'm disappointed in America. Doesn't take much. In this version, it is said that a woman identified only as Miss Espinoza was kidnapped by the tribe and held in a cave and took Pastrana with her when she was able to escape. In another version, which is based on the words of indigenous villagers in Ocroni, Mexico, Pastrana was a local girl whom they referred to as Wolf Woman. In this version, Pastrana lived with her mother until her mother passed away, after which her uncle sold her to the circus. Both accounts claim that at some point she lived in a home of Pedro Sanchez and the governor of Sinaloa, and left the home in 1854. Medical examinations. During her life, Pastrana's management arranged to have her examined by doctors and scientists using their evaluations and advertisements to attract a large audience. When Dr. Alexander B. Mott, MD, certified that she was specifically the result of the mating of human and orangutan. Oh, that deserved more of a head-to-hand slap. Another doctor, as Brainerd of Cleveland, declared that she was of distinct species. Frances Buckland stated that she was only a deformed Mexican Indian woman. And we could have left it at that. Samuel Neeland Jr., a comparative anatomist of the Boston Society of Natural History, declared that she was human and of Indian descent. Charles Darwin discussed her case after her death, describing her as follows: Julia Pastrana, a Spanish dancer, was a remarkably fine woman, but she had a thick masculine beard and a hairy forehead. She was photographed and her stuffed skin was exhibited at a show, but what concerns us is she had in both the upper and lower jaw an irregular double set of teeth. Oh! One row being placed within the other, of which Dr. Purland took a cast. From redundancy of the teeth, her mouth projected and her face had a gorilla-like appearance. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that is interesting. Oh, here's another picture. So I'm wondering, guys, would it be possible? And once you guys see this, would it be possible to have a family of people like that look like this living up in the Appalachian Mountains that people think are Bigfoot? I'm just saying, we could be seeing an actual family that that suffer from the same infliction as this woman. Leave them alone. Let's leave Bigfoot alone and his family, and let's let them live. Yeah, good. Thank you. It is a good. Now it totally comes clear. Sometimes I wonder how some people remember to breathe. And sometimes I question how some of us walk upright at all. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Thesis. Yeah, sadly, we haven't changed too much since first learning how to walk upright. Thank you, Dan. And it's really sad when Charles Darwin has the nicest write up about this woman, about Pastrana. Um, I need to read some more some of his stuff. Maybe that's a deep dive for another show to talk about Charles Darwin's uh, stuff. I mean, it we wouldn't know about Charles Darwin if it wasn't for the Darwin Awards. uh, so yeah, maybe that's what we need to do is go do a deep dive on Charles Darwin and some of the strange Darwin Awards that have come about. Yeah, Donna says, "Oh my God, people can be so stupid." Oh, the thesis says Carl going into teacher mode again, and I appreciate it. I learned so much from you guys. Carl says, "Oh, you should see some of the words that I had to learn for psychology and rehabilitation." I see. This is the reason why I could never go to proper college. This is why I went to broadcasting school, so that anytime that I had to pronounce big words, I'd have like Wikipedia to help me sound stuff out. Um, if you do a show on Darwin, I'd be happy to help. Thank you. Um, I um, I appreciate you guys offering to help. Um, so yeah, have you guys seen The Greatest Showman? That is such a great movie. Um, and no, I will not be able to ever sing like any of those actors. Um, but that is a great movie. I would actually love to see the play. Um, so yeah, a musical Pastrana by Australian writers Ellen McFadden and Peter Northwood was performed by Melbourne's Church Theatre in 1989. The production was nominated for 5 Melbourne Green Room Awards. A play based on Pastrana's life, the true history of the tragic life and triumphant death of Julie Pastrana, the ugliest woman in the world. Oh, that's really sad. 1998 was written by Shauna Pendergast. In 2003, Texas production of the play by Kathleen Anderson Klebro, sister of Laura Anderson Barbada, led the campaign by Anderson Barbada to to feature Pastrana's remains from Norway to Mexico. Interesting. In film, Marco Ferreri's the Ape Woman, 1964, is based on Pastrana's life story. On the 14th of October 2013, the in development movie Velvet was announced, based on the life of and experience of Julia Pastrana, and from the original screenplay by Kelso Garcia and Francisco Payo Gonzalez. Velvet is directed by Kelso and Garcia and is an international production with the support of various personalities behind and in front of camera. The announcement appeared in an article published in Mexican newspaper Mural, member of the editorial group Reforma. Yeah, so that's all stuff that you guys can look up and look into, and I might have to look this stuff up as well. So, you guys are amazing, and thank you very much for joining me here tonight. Oh, and because you guys are my loyal fans, please join us on patreon.com/serialboxpodcast. That is patreon.com/serialboxpodcast. If you guys like to do more shows, if you would love to do any shows with me as a host, or if you guys have ideas for topics, please feel free to join us on the Patreon, and you guys can even host your own show of Cryptid Crunch. But yeah, I would love to have you guys on my show. If you guys have any cool ideas for future shows, yeah, please send them my way. I would love to hear your I would love your comments, not just in the chat, but on any of our videos if you're watching this on replay. So again, thank you very much for joining us on Cryptid Crunch tonight. I apologize Keisha couldn't be here to join us and add her banter. Rasputin. There is a dance. There is a dance that that we do at KeyCon for which is our sci-fi convention here in Winnipeg. Which, by the way, I am the the con chair for next year's May Long Weekend Fiesta. So if you guys happen to be in the Winnipeg area come our May Long Weekend, you guys are welcome to join us at KeyCon, which is our sci-fi convention, and learn the dance to the Rasputin song. Yeah. So yeah. Again, thank you for joining us tonight, and hope I'll think of something fun for our next show. Oh, and by the way, I apologize for everything being all kind of screwy this month, but me and the Ice Cream Queens came up with a plan that they had the first of the month so that they can be at a convention. I really hope that you guys are following the Ice Cream Queens because they are fantastic. I love them. I'm a huge fan of them. So hopefully they're having fun at their convention, and sorry that things kind of got a little screwy, but you know what? Things will go back to more normal next Sunday. Next Sunday will be another episode of Cryptid Crunch. All right, you guys have a fun, fantastic evening. Thank you for letting me banter about and read off of Wikipedia for you tonight. I love you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you, and have a good night.